Thank you, Mr. President. Also, happy Black History Month. I want to thank all my colleagues most certainly for sharing their sentiments. And as I was listening, I was also reflecting on my own journey to this seat, most certainly, and just thinking about my own history and also being the first African American and first woman to represent my district in the Southern Tier here in this body. And so I most certainly appreciate Senator Parker's comment around that we are living history, but more importantly, what are we doing with what we know to make things better for the future? And so as I rise to speak on this also great resolution, recognizing girls and women in sports, I want to thank my Senate colleagues, Mr. President, for supporting this resolution, memorializing Governor Kathy Hochul's proclamation stating February 1st as Girls and Women in Sports Day in the state of New York in conjunction with the observance of National Girls and Women in Sports Day. I am proud to stand today to celebrate the progress that we have made and the work that remains to be done to ensure equity for girls and women in sports. This day was first celebrated in 1987 to commemorate Olympic volleyball player and African-American Florence Jean or Flo Hyman. She was one of the best athletes of her time who unfortunately died of a rare congenital heart disorder at the age of 31. She was an incredible volleyball player. Not only did she serve the ball at speeds of 100 miles an hour, but she was known to have a spike shot at the net that was compared to a slam dunk by Julius Erving, also known as Dr. J, for folks who may know him in that manner. That was before my time. But folks are very familiar. And so when she was not on the volleyball court, and what I found to be equally fascinating about her story and her journey, Hyman worked tirelessly to promote equal representation of women in sports, in addition to fighting for civil rights, lobbying alongside civil rights leader Coretta Scott King for the Civil Rights Restoration Act, and testifying before Congress in favor of strengthening Title IX legislation passed in 1972. 25 years ago, in my district in Tompkins County, Ithaca High School, girls actually made history as the first girls hockey team in New York State. As they fought for access to the ice rink, they used the empowering acronym GREAT, which stands for Girls Really Expect a Team, which is another way of saying that girls should not have to apologize for wanting the same opportunities as their male classmates. I was disappointed to learn recently that they canceled this year's hockey season due to COVID-related dips in participation. However, I hope we will see a return of this historic team next year, as school-based teams, as we all know, provide access to sports like hockey that are most certainly very expensive and traditionally dominated by male athletes and often very exclusionary. And so, in further reflection, 50 years after the passage of Title IX, we are still striving for equitable access to federally funded programs, activities, and other resources. We must ensure that the public and private schools offer equitable sports opportunities to all students, regardless of their gender or race and ethnicity. While it is certainly true that we have made progress, there's much more work to be done to make sure that all girls have access to sports, so we can ensure that the next Flo Hyman does not miss her chance to make her way onto a volleyball court or any other athletic space of her choosing. As those of us who have played sports, and I also recognize some of us are more of the observant category, no judgment, have watched our favorite team play, knows very well that access to sports empowers young athletes, and it builds a sense of teamwork, pride, and accomplishment. And so I'm very happy to stand here today to vote in favor of this resolution, and I hope my colleagues will join me in celebrating girls and women in sports by voting aye. Thank you so much.